E360 TV proudly presents messages of inspirational stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, with your host, Donna and Jim, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Ginwa Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. We really hope that you had a wonderful holiday weekend celebrating in America here our Independence Day on 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. We certainly did, and it's such an honor and a blessing for people to live in freedom and enjoy freedom, and to especially live with freedom in between your ears. That's what this week is all about, because we gotta be free of worry. We gotta be free of stress. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about what we picked up or what we started yesterday. But before we get started, today is July the 5th, and we got some national holidays here.
We do.
Oh, and you guys will like this. You might want to remind the ladies in your life that today is National Bikini Day. And if you're like me, it's not going to do you much good, but at least you could remind them.
Right.
And
right. Well,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. The one I am really looking at that I love is National Apple Turnover Day.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I see that. Oh, yeah, because, boy, she turns those apples over and over and over until they're just crispy and flaky. You bite into them, they melt in your mouth, and you start drooling like a hound dog at a picnic. They're just delicious, aren't they?
They are. So good.
One of the things I've always liked, and I really mean this, I mean, I've always liked them. I still have them, and that is mechanical pencils. Today is Mechanical Pencil Day. And I've just always liked them. I really have. I mean, just I guess I'm, different or whatever, but I've always liked them. I really have.
Yeah, I don't use pencils very much, mainly pens, but the mechanical pencils were definitely a game changer for us.
Yeah, I use them because I do some drafting and stuff like that. And I had the ones where you put in the little wheel in there, and you sharpen them up and wipe them off so it wouldn't get all the carbon dust on your paper.
On the paper.
Oh yeah, I mean I was a nitwit for those things. And Donna, in addition to that, today, July the 5th, is National Graham Cracker Day.
Absolutely, and I'd like to thank whoever made that, because of all the things that come from it. Pies and s'mores.
S'mores.
So good.
Yeah, I think they named them after they taste them. I just taste s'mores. But really, I mean, I love the pies where they put the crumbled, on
the graham cracker crust.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, that is just. I can hardly get I'm drooling so bad on the inside, I can hardly get my tongue going here. But it's a wonderful day. Also, today is National Hawaii Day, over a few folks over there in the 50th state. And here's a day for us. National Workaholics Day. I have been guilty of that in the past. I mean,
I have. I think more out of survival than wanting to work 100 plus hours a week.
Oh, yeah. And, a lot of us fell into that, and I've told the story before when I was participating in golf tournaments and all that. And I'd be out there and I should be actually enjoying the fresh air, the sunshine, all that, the game. And deep down inside, folks, I felt guilty from taking away from being away from the job, from my work and all
Right.
at the plant. I really did. And that's really sad because that's me saying that I'm a slave, and you do become a slave to your business to some degree. I don't think that's avoidable, you know. I mean, I
And I
did.
think it's important though, because that's what we're talking about here in freedom to
Mhm,
worry, and we'll get into that a little bit, is
mhm,
learning how to disconnect
mhm.
and connect with yourself and your family.
Yeah. In other words, have a life.
Hmm.
I didn't do a real good job of that, you know, but it's amazing how that consumes you because I
Right.
used to get up early and work late, work on weekends, and didn't think anything about it.
Right.
But you become a slave to the grind. And
Right.
that's true even in relationships across the board.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
can just give, 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 and give, and you get out of balance.
Well, we can talk into that because you have given so much. There's not there, your cup is completely empty.
Hmm.
Nothing going back in. But today is National Pet Remembrance Day,
Yes, ma'am.
and I've got a trail behind me, shall we
Hmm.
say, of
Yeah.
beautiful, amazing pets I've had in my life.
Oh, yeah. It's really amazing the pets that we have in our life because some people, I mean, that might be the only love they have in their life. I've
Right.
known people that the only thing that they had in their life that loved them was a pet,
Hmm.
was a dog. Family never came around. They didn't have any friends or so. And it's really sad. It really is because can you imagine? I've said this 100 times here or more on the TV show. Can you just imagine what a wonderful world this world would be if everyone had the loving heart for one another the same way the family dog has for us?
Hmm.
Now,
Or the
cats
cat
are,
that jump on your lap.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of information on, how you get over the loss of a pet. And losing a pet is very, very painful because you lost love in your life. And
Hmm.
that's painful, period. But
Unconditional, pure love.
absolutely. But I believe in my heart that one day we will see them again and never be separated ever again. You're
Right.
talking about no aches, no pains, no hemorrhoids, no suppositories, no nothing except pure joy, love, and jubilee. And that's the only way to live. That's what makes this life worth living is for the life it's coming. It really is. And the way I look at it, if we're created in the Creator's image, and if we love our pets, He loves them too.
Right.
They're His fur babies. I don't know how He can love a. Well, I ain't gonna say it because I know people that have those for pets. But I would not have one in my house for anything in the world, and I'm talking about snakes.
Yeah,
But
that's not something that I can get on board with. I
yeah,
appreciate them.
yeah,
I appreciate them, but not in my house.
and I admire people who appreciate and enjoy the reptiles for who they are, what they are, and all that, and have them in their house. And it's just a different kind of pet. You're not gonna, I don't know, curl up with it or whatever. I've seen people with snakes around their necks and all that, and no, thank you. I will go. I'll go out. I got to go take a smoke break. I'll pick up smoke in front. Do that. Can we get on to a better subject, Donna? Get me out of the hole here.
Well, I'm kind of enjoying watching you just dig a little deeper, buddy. Oh goodness.
Yeah, did
Well,
that all by
yesterday,
myself. Mhm.
right? Yesterday we started, of course, our week off with
Yeah.
our theme of freedom without worry
Yes, ma'am.
and how it robs us of our daily joy.
Mhm.
If we worry so much about the little things, we miss the magical moments of our life that are happening right before our eyes.
Yes, ma'am. We sure do.
Because you've got that worry in front of you, and then that magical moment that happens
Hmm.
it really, you see it, but you can't really put it into your memory bank
Hmm.
because you've got so much worry in front of you.
Hmm. People worry about money and their future, finances, also to their security. We're going to zero in a little bit today about security, since yesterday we covered a lot about, the basic, the general worries.
Right.
And, when it comes to money, if you worry about money, then you're focused on not only the wrong thing, but you're going to, worry yourself to death over nothing, because money doesn't come from worry. Money comes from blessing others and being a blessing to others, and that's the reward of your efforts.
Well, money is the most replenishable commodity on earth.
It really is. Yeah.
You know,
There's
if you
been,
want more money, work a little more.
yeah.
So when you think about it, and the other thing, people worry about money, and I see it a lot, as I'm sure we all have, because
Mhm.
we are in, the worst
Economy.
inflation in 40 years.
Mhm.
So, I certainly take a hard look at our budget.
Sure.
But I see when people sometimes worry about it, they're also not willing to relinquish anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So you cannot have a wish here. Okay. Well, I want to have, I need more money for my bills with inflation going higher. But I'm not going to give up any of these things.
Hmm.
So, sometimes, and that becomes its own form of enslavement to worry.
Hmm. Yeah.
When we have I've always looked at everything in my life, my my needs must come before any want.
Hmm. Right.
Period.
Amen. Amen.
Period. Anything else is secondary.
Hmm.
So my bills have to be paid and taken care of before there's any wants that come through.
Sure. And that's just plain old common sense with discipline.
Hmm.
It really is. And also, too, when you give, because it is possible for you to hold on tightly to every dollar you got to your name
Right.
and not be benevolent in any way, not even in a small way. And it is possible that you have just shut off the vine
Right.
of energy that will lead you to be, as you bless others, you will be blessed.
Hmm.
That is a promise from the universe. I mean, you just like the sun's going to rise in the east and set in the west, that's a promise. I mean, that's a
Right.
universal promise. And a lot of people, a lot of us, even myself to some degree, sometimes I struggle with seeing the bigger picture. And I like to admit that, because of the fact, if I admit it to myself and I'm honest with myself, then there's room for improvement. That's the key to life. Be honest with yourself. This is my fault. This is my shortcoming. Now, I say that to let myself be free and not be enslaved by that. Because
Right.
a lot of people are too afraid to be honest. Here I am on TV. So what?
Right.
I'm not perfect. So what? I'm not the best looking guy in the world. Oh, hush. That's a gimme there, isn't it, Donna? But
Right.
realistically, giving is the way that you really are able to receive, because the farmer plants the field, and the seed that he plants is for one reason, is for it to grow.
Hmm.
And you've got to invest in others, not expecting a return, but invest in them freely with the right kind of heart. And there's no question about it. You will grow.
Right.
There's no question about it.
Well, the number one worry for everyone is finances.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And when we understand that, and that's why I brought up what I did about, people are worried about their finances, but they're also not willing to sacrifice any of their, yeah, it's Glock, I know, um, willing to sacrifice any of their wants. And
Hmm.
so that is huge. So if worry of finances is a big one for you, you really need to look at your budget, because
Mhm.
honestly, how much will you miss it? I look at it like this, and I don't do it. I don't go to those coffee places and buy a grande whatever for $7, $8 or whatever they are. I don't even know how much they are. But if I bought one of those a day and it was $8, and I bought one 5 days a week, Jim, what is that? How much is that?
$8 a day, 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's 40.
Okay. And so with gas being what it is, right?
Mhm.
So if I did that times 52 weeks, it's $2,080
Yeah.
that I would be spending on a
Mhm.
coffee.
Yeah.
Now, what could I do in my household by eliminating that to ease the worry from a financial concern?
Mhm. What's it worth to you, huh?
Right. And so I am a firm believer, and this may sound pretty hard, but I am a firm believer that people will not pay attention until it affects them.
Mhm.
People will not change
Yep.
until it affects them,
Mhm.
until that correlation directly hits them. So, my whole reason for saying this is if it is tight, really tight for you, take a look at your output right now.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, and it snowballs and you keep going, then you're more behind on your needs than your wants,
Mhm.
right? So we're behind on our bills, but we're still having whatever it is we want.
Mhm.
So one of the only ways I know of, there's two ways I know to fix that: either cut back or work more.
Mhm.
And work more doesn't always necessarily mean you go out and buy another coffee or whatever it
Mhm.
is, right? Because you're
Yeah.
trying to pay your bills. So there
Mhm.
are ways to alleviate the worry in your life and have freedom
Mhm.
from that. But
Yeah.
you have to, it starts with sitting down and being absolutely 100% honest with yourself and go over. And so, I did this with my oldest one time. I told him, I went and bought him one of those little teeny notebooks about this big, about that wide. I said, I want you to write down every single thing you spend every day, every nickel, every dime, every quarter, every dollar. I want you to write it down, and I want you to do that for not less than 2 weeks. So he did. And I got to be honest, he was absolutely shocked
Hmm.
at the frivolousness of money he spent, not thinking about the, $1.50 here, $2 here, etc. Because then I took that and I did the same thing as I did earlier. I took that and I multiplied it out by the weeks. When you have too much month at the end of the money, you need to figure out where the money is going.
Mhm. Exactly right. I know a lot of people today, it's the lifestyle to work, then stop on the way home, pick up something to eat for supper, and then go home. And you start figuring it out, you know, what that's really costing you as opposed to preparing stuff and having stuff ready at home
Right?
cooking, that sort of thing. You'd be surprised because a lot of young people, maybe not so much young, but a lot of people in general, um, a lot of times with childcare and eating out and all that and gas and clothes and all, they're actually just trading dollars for times.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
basically it.
Yep.
And that came home to roost. The chickens came home to roost on that with a lot of people during 2020 during the shutdown.
Right.
Yeah, and that's when they started shifting over, working out of home and creating jobs like that out of home. Then they started, hey, some of the cobwebs got cleaned out of the in between the ears, and they started seeing the light. And
Well, I'm one of those that I have always cooked, and
mhm,
for us to go out and eat, um, is
eating,
it's pretty rare.
yeah, it's a treat.
Yeah, we don't do it very often.
Mm-mm.
And I remember when I was pregnant with my youngest, we were in Kansas at the time. So I had two little kids who were toddlers running around.
Mm-mm.
And of course, my ex husband wasn't home because he was on the road. So it was me. And I would be exhausted by the time I got home,
Mm-mm.
being pregnant and caring for two little ones. And I would take one weekend out of every month. I'd go to the grocery and I'd buy everything I need. And I would literally cook all bloomin' weekend.
Mm-mm.
And I would make probably 8, 9 different dishes, and I'd freeze them out and put them in and mark them, write out what they were. And then when I would get ready the night before, I'd know what I was going to have. I'd pull it out in the morning before I left for work. I put it in the oven, set the timer on. So when I got home, we had a hot meal. All I had to add to it was a salad and a vegetable,
Mm-mm.
and we could sit down and have a nice meal because I
Mm-mm.
wasn't getting off work till 6 o'clock at that time. So
Oh
if I
yeah.
had to do a meal from scratch, it would have been, a sandwich kind of meal
Mm-hmm.
because I needed to get my kids bathed and in bed,
Mm-hmm.
right? At a decent
Sure.
hour.
Yeah. Because eating out, it's well, when we go out to eat, we went out to eat this past weekend and all. But like you, it's a treat for us. But I mean, my goodness, the food that they give nowadays
Hmm.
as compared to 30, 40 years ago. I mean, they feed you like your nickname is Hog Jones. I'm serious. I mean, I
Yep.
took home a couple of containers there of food because I couldn't eat all that. Yeah, I
Right.
just, I eat till I'm full. And as you get older, and this is a smart thing to do at any age, do not eat by the clock. Okay, that can create stress in your life because, 12 o'clock come, I didn't get a chance to eat. Well, are you alive? Okay. But a lot of people, they have it set up in their minds. They got to eat breakfast at a certain time, lunch at a certain time, dinner at a certain time. And nowadays, I mean, I eat when I'm hungry.
Right.
And a lot of times in the morning when I get up, I drink my water, which I highly recommend for everybody. Drink a glass of water. That is one of the best things you can do for your body. Also, in losing weight, drinking water. That's been proven. And while I'm get done drinking my water, then I start enjoying my coffee. And sometimes um, I may have breakfast, and sometimes I may skip breakfast. It just depends on how I feel. And I let my body make that decision rather than, well, what time is, well, I got to eat. That's the wrong attitude. Because when it comes to reducing stress in your life, stress comes on all angles at us. It really does. From the things we see on the news, things we see on the internet, the the stuff that comes across us in our, all the stuff we get on these robo dial messages that we get. But even in our even in our jobs and all, and what we do for a living, I mean, we can just get all stressed out, and we got to be able to just take a deep breath and relax and say, I'm in control here.
Well,
And
one of the things you can do is have fun.
yeah, get you
So,
get you a cat, like Donna's got. Get four.
well, yeah, get forward, make yourself crazy like Donna. But in all truth and honesty, the crazy started before the cats came home. So
The cats just brought it to a new level.
yeah, they just brought it up another notch. But I keep getting either the phone calls, which if they're not
Oh,
in my book or say who it is, I don't
yeah.
answer it. But now they've gotten really brassy,
Hmm.
and they'll send me a text and they'll
Yeah.
say, "Hi, Donna, this is Karen with such and such, and would you be interested in letting go your house at such and such an address?" And so I have fun with it now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Karen, thank you. Oh, I really would be. I can't believe you texted me when you did. Thank you so much. Yes, I am so willing to. I want to sell it for 15 million cash.
Mhm.
When
No
can I
need.
expect the money? And it's amazing. I don't hear from him.
Yeah, I tell you, I better not tell that joke that I got. You know which one it was, though.
Yeah.
I can't say that on the air, but I had fun with that. It was
Hmm.
about being bigger, and I said, "Why don't we go from 5'10" to 5 foot, so many inches bigger?" Anyway, enough of that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're talking about one of the things that worries people is also feeling secure,
Yes.
job security or security in your house. Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure in your life? That's a question you ask yourself. And if not, you got to be honest with yourself, folks. If not, why not? There's something there that's robbing you that makes you insecure.
Hmm.
I can understand people feeling insecure in their house, living in a rough neighborhood.
Right.
And I can understand that. But there's things you can take charge of in your life to get out of that situation. And as an old friend of mine used to say, that's why God made shotguns. But the point being is that if you're living and you're afraid, you don't have security in your life. Maybe you're afraid you're going to lose a loved one. You don't own that loved one. And if that loved one does not love you, you're at the wrong place with the wrong person. And a lot of people don't feel secure in their relationship. And
Right.
I've been down that street, and it's no fun. I
Right.
mean, when I back when I was young and all that, we covered a little bit of that yesterday, but it's that's a horrible feeling to feel. It really is. It's kind of like jealousy. A lot of people realize that jealousy really is a form of hatred, and it wounds innocent people cruelly. It really does.
Right.
And Donna, when it comes to feeling secure in your life and all that, you can do that, can't you? No matter what bad situation you're in, you can feel secure, can't you?
You can. And if you think about it, you're not going to get security. Like okay, just as an example, Jim and I do this show together. It works better with our personalities.
Hmm.
However, Jim has had lots of radio experience. I've had lots of radio experience. We both had our own shows.
Hmm.
I am secure in talking on camera or talking on radio and could do the
Hmm.
show alone. It's not as much fun. It really isn't. But I'm secure. My
Hmm.
security doesn't stem from Jim being there and vice versa.
Hmm.
My security comes from knowing who I am and that I am doing what I love
Hmm.
and I am doing it for all the right reasons.
And she's comfortable with herself.
I'm way comfortable with myself. You
Hmm.
know, I have a friend who I was saying to this particular friend, I was saying, I love being around people, but I really, really like being alone and having my alone time and being in my little, my home, my little sanctuary. And he said, that's interesting. And I said, why is that? And he said, because I think you're an outgoing recluse. So, right, I'm outgoing, but what I'm saying is I'm secure when I'm out and being outgoing.
Hmm.
But I also need that home time. I need that
Hmm.
alone time.
Oh yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with that. But your security has to come from within,
Oh
knowing
yeah.
that you are doing the best you can do. And
Hmm.
if you need to bring how you feel secure about yourself up, you need to, again, this is going to go a little bit of a deep dive, and you need to find what it is that you're not sure about,
Hmm.
right? So,
Exactly.
like if I'm maybe in not the super greatest mood, I'll throw a little perfume on that I like. because I keep smelling it
Hmm.
and it makes me happy. I
You
like
treat,
that smell.
yeah, you treat yourself. Yeah.
Right, right. So there's little things that we can do
Hmm.
to make ourselves secure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
but we have to find out what it is
Hmm.
that we're not secure in our own life about.
Yeah. You know, many times when this may sound kind of, elementary or childish or whatever, but many times I get up and I'm going to get a cup of coffee, and my attitude is, I mean, I don't practice this. This just comes out there, it just boomerangs out there. I kind of like, hot dog, I'm going to go get another cup of coffee. Oh boy. And, that's a good thing because, as Donna can tell you, uh, growing old is mandatory with me, but growing up is optional.
Right?
And I have not exercised that option. I'll be 74 in August. So what?
Hmm.
I mean, if a cup of coffee can excite me and make me give thanks for, you know, my health, my happiness, my everything. Wow. I wish that would. I wish that would be a pandemic or something like that along
Right?
those lines and cross over because I want to talk a little bit, if I may, about how stress really affects our lives. First thing it does, it robs you of energy and you just get fatigued.
Hmm.
It just wears you out. It creates muscular tension. Anybody ever have any headaches from worry?
Or right up here through your shoulders and your neck.
Oh, yeah. You ever felt stress in your heart?
Hmm.
You feel it beat a little funny? You know, and sleeping difficulties. How many times in life have you laid down, you've been worried about something, maybe something that you didn't get done or something been gnawing at you, and you just can't sleep?
Right?
Oh my gosh. That is the one thing that you owe yourself is a good night's sleep. You really do. And I forget the story, how it goes, and I forget who told the story, but there was a guy who owed a man some money, and he was his wife noticed that he was very restless that night. And he went to bed and he got up and he went to bed again. He tossed and turned, and she says, "What's wrong?" She says, "You tell me what's wrong." He said, "Well," he says, "I owe this guy money and I can't pay him and it's due tomorrow." She says, "Now, no problem." She picked up the phone. She calls the guy at 10 or 11 o'clock at night and says, "This is, she told him who she was. And he knew she was the guy's wife. Says, "I just want to let you know my husband owes you this much money in the morning. He ain't got it, but we're going to work on it, okay?" And she hung up. She turned to him and says, "Now go back to sleep and let him worry about the rest of the night." And I forget where I heard that story, but that is such a classic. It really is
Hmm.
because when you worry about something like that, it will rob you of your strength, your
Right?
sleep, your energy, your everything. If you don't get a good night's rest, guess how you feel the next day?
Right. It takes whatever yesterday's worry was
Hmm.
by not getting enough rest,
Hmm.
and it amplifies it and makes it even bigger the
Oh,
next day.
yeah. I mean, it affects your digestive system. You've seen people worry or get excited and stuff. They break out in pimples and stuff or whatever. It just has all kind of, flare-ups in your body and your life. And it's not just physical, the psychological things too. It gives people depression.
Hmm.
It leads them into anxiety.
Oh
Anxiety.
yeah.
I uh, I got to be honest. Anxiety. I've had it a few times, but not much in my life. But I've had it enough in life to know this. I don't want that anymore.
I've had it when my children have been really, really ill.
Hmm.
I've had it when uh, going through the loss test to
Hmm.
determine, and when I was told I had MS, and then
Mm.
with my brain surgeries, I
Mm.
had some
Yeah,
anxiety with that.
sure.
Um, and it was not fun. You're right. It is
Mm-mm.
not fun.
Mm-mm. Yeah, you're exactly right because people that suffer from anxiety and depression, things like that. I mean, my heart goes out to you, and
Oh
bless your
gosh.
heart.
It's a tough one.
look for ways other than a pill bottle. The pill bottle is important. I'm not saying it isn't. Please don't misunderstand me. What I'm saying, don't let that be the 100% cure all, because look for ways to find an answer on what's gnawing at you, because you owe yourself that, because you're going to get discouraged and you're going to get irritable. My goodness gracious, especially when you don't get a good night's sleep. I mean, it's rare for me not to get a good night's sleep, but if I can't sleep too well the next day, I've got a shorter fuse than I normally have. We
Right.
all do. We all do. And all of that robs you of your health, your happiness, the joy, and the life that you're entitled to live. And we keep saying that, but Donna, that's something that we all should just embrace.
Right.
Own it. Yes.
Well, understanding that emotions indicate what people are creating, and that
Hmm.
is either consciously or
Hmm.
subconsciously.
Amen.
So when our emotions are out of balance, are you creating peace and harmony and freedom from worry? Or are you creating more stress and more turmoil churning in your body,
Hmm.
creating
Chaos.
chaos, worry?
Yeah. Absolutely. And see, all that's self-inflicted. And all of that's avoidable if you love yourself and you're patient with yourself and you're honest with yourself. Because it also makes a person feel very pessimistic about life and feeling of being overwhelmed.
Right.
I've been there with feelings of being overwhelmed. Got too
Absolutely.
much to do, not enough time to do it. And I remember I worked with a guy and I heard him. He was talking to somebody. He says, retire. I can't retire. He says, heck, I can't even die. I've got so much to do.
Well,
And the way he said it was hilarious, but I understood
it,
where he's coming from. He was a workaholic. Excuse me, Donna. Go ahead.
right. And I apologize, but you just hit on something, Jim, because when we worry about something and we take it the next day, and then the next day, one of the other things that it does do is it puts us in a position. We're worried about this worry over here, number one. And then something else comes along, right? Down here, and it's number two.
Mhm.
Get my finger in the screen. There we go. And it's number two. Well, what happens is maybe that second worry isn't that big of a deal. But
Mhm.
we're so focused on this first worry that we've been carrying around with us for days that
Mhm.
our judgment is not good in
Mhm.
going into number two. So we may not see what is being really there in its proper form. And I have done that. And I continue, if there is something that is really bothering me and something
Mhm.
else comes up, I will continue to say, okay, I need to deal with this one first. Because I think if I don't, I'm going to bring the wrong energy
Mhm.
into this worry or this whatever's come up
Mhm.
over here. So it's a transference. Okay, that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying, folks. I'm transferring that energy, and maybe it doesn't need that kind of energy.
Mhm.
And if I don't do that, I'm almost 100% sure it's going to come back and bite me right square in the butt.
You're exactly right, Don. Those are good points, because whenever you're stressed out like that, that you're going to be a little more aggressive with others, a
Right.
more short fuse. But as Donna was just talking about, you're going to have a diminished. Your creativity is going to be decreased. Is what I'm trying to say. Not only your creativity, but your initiative will be diminished, and that's the very thing that can get you out of the situation that you're in.
Right.
But it's just you're just putting water on the gas, you might say, or on the
Mhm.
fuel. But you're going to see a drop in what you can do productively. It's also going to create problems in your interpersonal relationships with others. People are going to
Mhm.
pick up on it, and you may have seen someone in your life. I know. I guess we all have. all of a sudden they change. All of a sudden they get quieter. And everybody's trying to figure out what's going on because they're dealing with something.
Or somebody gets more angry,
Oh, yeah. Been there
short fuse
too.
at everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the worst ones are the ones who are happy one day and mad the next. You can't figure them out. So we'll put them over in the corner somewhere.
Right. Well, the one thing I learned about my anger issues is that no one was making me mad.
Mm-mm.
There wasn't one soul out there that was truly pissing me off. The only person who I let get mad and piss me off was myself.
Yeah.
I let them hit the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. I let them hit
Yeah.
the buttons
Mm-hmm.
because if you are in and understand, if somebody says something mean to me, okay, I hope you got it off your chest, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good one. Because it doesn't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect who I am. I needn't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're exactly right. And the same thing is true in relationships. I mean, if you allow someone to walk over you and to, how can I say this? I'm just going to say it. If they say that you're ugly or you can't cook or you can't do this or whatever, I'm mainly talking from a male standpoint to a female. Don't buy into that. Love the person enough to give yourself grace and forgive yourself, and most importantly, understand and be thankful that you're not as ignorant and hot-headed as he is, because that's what it is. It's ignorance. No, we all make mistakes. We all have things we can do great. We have other things that, there's some things in my life they want me to do. Well, I could goof up a one-car funeral is a good way to use as an analogy of that one there. But my point being is that there are people out there that just enjoy making themselves feel better by putting you down. And that's what Donna was saying. You allow them to push your hot buttons.
Because they themselves are miserable.
Yes, they're very miserable.
So it is not a reflection of you.
No, not at all.
It is 120 million%
Mm-hmm.
a reflection of them, of how they see themselves. And because they don't have that peace
Mm-hmm.
and love and energetic harmony
Mm-hmm.
in their life, they take it out on you.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you can start doing right now is sit down by yourself, get off to a place where you cannot be interrupted, and just sit and think about what kind of a person do I want to be? What kind of a lifestyle do I want to have?
Right.
What would make me happy? What would bring me joy and jubilee? And please don't think about money, because money can't buy it. You ever seen a store selling happiness? You want $20 of happiness? You want $50 of happiness?
Right.
It doesn't exist. My point being is that what can you do to make yourself feel better about yourself? Get off to yourself, and just close your eyes, because a lot of people who go into thinking, great thinkers, they actually, sometimes I'll lay down on the couch, I'll close my eyes. I want no noise going on. I want total peace and quiet. And that's when things come to me. When I wake up in the morning after a good night's rest, that's when things pop in my mind, because I don't have all this other stuff going on. We all have stuff going on in our minds.
You don't have the traffic noise in your head.
There you go. What Donna said, But it's so important for you to get off and, it's okay to dream and visualize how you would like your life. How would you like to feel about yourself? Where do you want to be a year down the road, 5 years down the road?
Right.
And that's very, very productive. It's also very, very soothing. But if you get your mind in tune with that way of thinking, your subconscious mind will not let you fail.
Right.
That's an amazing thing. It took a long time for me to learn. That's because I'm kind of slow between the ears, but make no mistake about it. Whatever you convince your subconscious mind that you want, your subconscious mind is like your GPS, your invisible GPS that will keep you guided in that direction.
Right.
Even though you're going to go through going to bounce off some closed doors to find the right doors, but that's the way it happens. That's
Right.
the way it works.
Right. But understanding yourself and what is causing you to worry and put you into anxiety and depression. And so there's something else here I'd like to touch on, Jim.
Okay.
If we aren't 100% honest with ourselves and we're worrying, and that causes us anxiety, and then we get depression, that's called co-occurring. One feeds the other, and then it feeds the other. So now you've gone from here to here to here, and it comes back. And it becomes a vicious co-occurring circle.
Mm.
So that's something that is important to look at and see if that's something that is happening with you. And, obviously take a hard look at it, see if you need, maybe need to go see a doctor, maybe need to go see a therapist. There's absolutely nothing in the world wrong with going and seeing a therapist, going and seeing a doctor. With a therapist who is specialized in these areas, they can help us get through kind of, I like to call them the cobwebs of our mind, right? And get to the root cause of the problem so that you can obtain that freedom from worry, anxiety, depression, and get out of that co-occurring cycle.
And live the life that you're entitled to. And if you see me over here looking around, smiling, all that, Dixie is circling. Yeah, she's circling my chair, rubbing on my legs and biting my fingers, and that sort of thing. And she's not. She just loves attention,
Right?
Yeah. But just think about, it's really amazing too. And I just want to say this: you probably got a better way of saying this than I do, Donna, but it's amazing how just by stroking an animal that loves you, how that lowers the blood pressure, how that, and sometimes your animals will come to you knowing that you need some love, especially like your dog. I mean, he'll come to you and he gives you that big 50-pound paw.
That's just his paws.
Yeah.
They hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also does that with I'm fixing dinner and it's not quite ready yet.
And he's hungry, huh?
Yeah, he'll flop his paw up and hit my leg, and I'm like, I am not wearing pants, son. That hurts.
Yeah.
But animals have a way when, again, they're so unconditional. And when you think about it, animals don't let crap bother them. I'll give you a case in point. Some of you have been around for a while, have heard me talk about my cat, Bullet. Well, he is an absolute pistol and then some. I mean, this cat is a live wire. If I could only tell you the things he's done. But let's just say out of all 4 of my cats, he makes up for 20 more. And he is constantly in trouble. I've got squirt bottles. I'll whip up the towel and swat him on the butt as he goes by. And he'll soak off and he'll run. He's not stupid. My point is, he'll come back down the hall and he'll want to love on me because he doesn't let with the past of what just happened bother him. And of course, he doesn't learn from it either, but he doesn't let it bother him. And so there in that, we learn a lesson from our animals. I have never seen an animal. Now you think about this. A lot of us have animals. How much joy for every moment do they have? They live every moment to its fullest,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
whatever
yeah.
that might be.
Mhm.
And we tend to forget how to do that somewhere between when we were little kids and when we become young adults. We pass through something that lets us forget to just enjoy and not be stressed.
Yeah. Have fun and giggle.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep. That's important.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really good for you to be able to watch something funny and watch something that can make you start giggling. And I mean, giggle and laugh as hard as you want to, laugh the tears run, because that is a great stress reliever.
Hmm.
It's good for your health. It's good for your brain. It's just GOOD good, as I like to
Right?
say. As the old commercial goes, GOOD good. And,
It's so healthy for you.
oh, yeah. That's why Donna is always looking for ways to laugh at me when I'm talking about something. And she ain't snorted in a long time.
I haven't. I've been a pretty good girl about that.
Yeah. We've had a bunch of shows that are snortless.
Snortless shows. Woo.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you. Yeah, a snort show is worth 5 stars. Snortless, maybe 3.5, 4, depending on content.
Oh
But
my
that
goodness.
snort throws us, that pegs the meter right there.
Right? It just goes up and above.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we hope that, folks, that you have walked away from today's show
Hmm.
and learned something to help yourself or your loved ones.
Hmm.
And don't be afraid to go there because you're worth everything. You're
Hmm.
worth everything to be free from that worry that enslaves you.
And you certainly have the right to be happy in your life and to relax and enjoy your health, your well being, and to give thanks for what you do have. Don't
Right.
focus on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. And give thanks for that, because being thankful is also the first step in the right direction to being happy.
Hmm.
It really, truly is. And, I give thanks many times. And I've only done it a few times, to be honest with you. I should do this more often. But you ever, get up to ready and go to bed, and you're kind of tired, you're kind of sleepy. Well, I think I'll go to bed, And then after you get in bed and you lay down, and your eyes you're wide awake. I mean, nothing's going on to worry or anything like that, but you're wide awake going, well, I really need to get sleep, because if I don't go to sleep to stay up to 2 o'clock or something, it's going to be a rough day for me, or short hours. And then I just laid down and thought, well, what can I do? I started just giving thanks for anything that popped in my head. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And you know what? I can say this very, very honestly, folks. Every single time I've done that, I've never, ever, ever, number one, ran out of things to be thankful for. Number two, finished it, because I always drift off in the la la land, and I sleep like a baby.
Hmm.
And I should do that more often. But usually with me, when I go to bed, I'm ready to go to sleep. So I don't,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't take long to go to sleep.
yeah, I'm the same way. I think it's that change of altitude when you're up here and you go down on the pillow there, you
Right,
you pass out.
right.
But that's a good thing too. But that's also a reflection. If you're sleeping well and go to bed, and go to sleep, that's a reflection that you're living a good life. That's right
You're,
for you, a
you're
good fit.
balanced. That
Yeah.
you're balanced.
Hmm.
Well, Jim, we are out of time, so we've got to close the show
Hmm.
before uh, Dixie takes over.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm on Dixie time now when the show's
Right,
over. That's what it is.
right.
She's a little. I don't know what it is about these little female cats. They just take one look at me and this guy's no problem. I haven't trained a week, maybe two. If he's a little dumb, it'd take 2 weeks. But it's our pleasure to be here today and to share some things with you. We just hope and pray that we've encouraged someone out there to be honest with himself and say, I'm going to take inventory of myself. I'm going to get rid of everything in my life that does not serve me. Think of yourself in that capacity. You are worthy to be served, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that everything that you have should serve you, and everything that you have, you should be giving thanks for, and share your blessings, your love, and everything that you can with someone else who is struggling in life. That's why we're here. Has nothing to do with money. It really doesn't.
Share the love and share that abundance.
You bet. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
Hot dog. I'm looking
All
forward.
right,
Is it tomorrow yet? Are we there yet?
folks. All right, folks. You have a wonderful evening or day wherever you are, and we will be back tomorrow.
You
Bye,
bet.
everybody.
Bye-bye, folks. Thank you.